kiddies, what up, what up? Welcome to Primal Scream. This is your host, Nick Graystone. For the next hour, we're going to talk about fantasy, reality, and everything in between. Let's go. Hey, kitties, what up, what up?
What up, kitties? What's going on? Primal Scream, Nick Graystone, back into his house. I hope everyone is doing well. These last couple of days are insanely hot. Kind of cooled off today, but we have a great show lined up. And I never really listened to my dad growing up, but he always said, never leave a pretty girl waiting. And boy, do I have a pretty girl waiting right now. So I'm going to go through my shit real quick because I really want to get my special guest on. I'm so excited, and I hope I don't fanboy out too much. But I'm gonna play it cool, right, Tony?
No, you won't.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna fuck this up. All right. So I just got back from a most amazing vacation. I went to Martha's Vineyard for the Jaws 50th anniversary, and wow, they did such an amazing job. And someone that I was talking to totally made me think about something. What other movie could there possibly be that turns 50, that the whole town just gets turned upside down, goes back into a fucking trance, and turns itself back into Amity Island and embraces one of the greatest movies ever made? Jaws is unbelievable. To me, it's my favorite movie of all time. I had such a great crew that I went with. We went on tours. We hung out at an amazing Airbnb. Went out to dinner every night. Just dipped in the pool. I didn't swim in the ocean because I've learned not to go into the ocean. Maybe up to my knees or my little toes. I stuck one in there. But I hung out in the pool and that was enough. But it was a great time, and again, just such a great. It's my friends from conventions, so it's really usually we're hanging out. We're got a lot of shit to do. We got to try to meet people, see screenings and everything. This one we had a couple of excursions that we're going to do, but for the most part, it was just really nothing was planned. All right, we're here. Let's go hang out and go see some Jaws stuff. So I can't wait to do it. We're already talking about doing it for the 30th anniversary of Jaws: The Revenge, but we're going to do it in the Bahamas. So maybe I'll go into the ocean over there because I seriously doubt the shark from Amity really could travel 3,000 miles to attack us. So we'll leave that at that. The last thing I want to talk about before I bring out my guest is I had so much FOMO going on during this trip, the last part of it, because it was Ozzy's Back to the Beginning concert this weekend, and I watched clips here and there. Not until I got home did I watch the whole thing. But man, I don't know the last time we had a concert like this where it was a tribute to somebody. I mean, he's still alive, but it was like Freddie Mercury vibes, concert back in the day when all the super groups came out and played, and then Ozzy comes out and does, he's sitting in his throne and he's giving it his all. It feels like he could just leave us at any time, and just no effects on his vocals or anything. And he does a heart-wrenching "Mama, I'm Coming Home," which it's one of my favorite songs of all time. And seeing him almost on the verge of death doing that's the way to go. There's nothing, to me, it's morbid to say it, but there's nothing tragic about, dying, doing what you love. And this obviously is something that he wanted to do. And my hat's off to Ozzy. Did a great performance. He had so many great bands with him. Speaking of a Freddie Mercury moment, Youngblood, this dude that I really don't know too much about, he came out and he sang Black Sabbath's Changes, and he had his moment. And man, I pulled up his catalog, and that's what it's all about. Passing the torch on to the next generation of musicians. And Ozzy's always done that. He brought my favorite bands to light. Motley Crue, giving them their first big break, Metallica, and all these great other bands. And, Youngblood went up there and did Changes, and it was so awesome. So, all right, I'm going to shut up, and I want to bring out my special guest. I can't wait any longer. Miss Diane Franklin, thank you so much for spending your Thursday evening with the likes of me.
You are awesome, Nick, and I am so excited to be here. And thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for accepting my invitation. Like, I can't believe it. Like, seriously, when I was telling my friends that you were coming on my podcast, they were like, "Bullshit, dude! There's no way that Diane Franklin is coming onto your stupid fucking podcast." I'm sorry if I'm cursing, if that like offends you or anything.
No, listen, your friends are gonna have to, you should have made a bet with them, because here I am, right?
Yeah, right. I should have. I have to ask you right off the bat: do you still speak the international language of love?
But of course I do. This is very important. Remember, everyone, practice your language lessons.
I love this. I love this. Oh my God, this is so
nice.
great.
You remember this film? It is the 40th anniversary of the movie, and I don't know if your fans know. Even if they know this film, better off dead, right?
Yes. Oh my God, it's such a great movie. Thank you so much for just going along with my nonsense and playing that perfect.
I love that. That's I was excited. I'm glad you mentioned Ozzy too. I thought that was amazing that he did that show. You're right. You do what you love, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's actually one of my things that because you were coming up in the era of the era that I love, like the 80s hair metal rise.
Yeah.
And you were in LA at the time. Were you in this scene?
No, because here's what it is. When everybody else was experiencing all of this awesome music, these great concerts, I was concentrating and focusing on my work as an actor. We didn't, at that time, I mean, social media is like a gift now. You could do so many things. But then it was I was really focused on my career. So because of that, now I'm able to revisit the 80s and I love it. I mean, it's just I was experiencing it from a different perspective. I was in it. I saw the actors. I saw people who were famous as people who were, either friends or people who I was auditioning with, but I didn't see them as necessarily the audience,
Okay.
So it was different, but now I get to be I have a bunch of friends who are actresses, and it's so cool because at the time when we were acting, it maybe have been more competitive, but now that we're friends, it's what's really great is we've all done our work. We've all made our mark in the world, like Heather Langenkamp and, Amanda Wyss, and Barbara Crampton and Jennifer Tilly and Suzanne Snyder and Jill Schulin and, oh my gosh, Felicia Rose. And there's a lot of actresses that I know that we are friends, and it's just very personally exciting because we're all looking at each other's work and going, yeah, you go, girl. Or even if anything's happening now, we're yeah, you go, so
that's so great. Awesome that now you guys are supporting each other like that, because you just rattled off so many great names, and I've met many of those names that you've met, and every single one I've not have a bad thing to say about them. They love their fans. They come out and they're so personable and they're transparent, and I love that about them.
I'll tell you something. 80s actresses, the ones that certainly where I was around, the ones I was around were really real people and really nice people. Again, everyone needs to work. Everyone's trying to work, but they're just real people, and I think it's really great. I just think that it's not to be ignored that just because these women were famous, they stepped out and they did things that at the time, it is a time where women stepped out and they started making a name for themselves, and they had opportunity to be leads in films, and that wasn't happening even in the 70s. There was more guy leads, and so these women were really what do they call it, the ones innovators and forefront pioneers of their time. Pioneers, and so that's why I really respect them, and I think they're awesome. And I tell them, there was something that was in there were some things that were going on in the news and in the world, and I was like, you guys don't realize how much you influence culture, 80s culture, you know.
Hell yeah.
So I always try to give them that kind of pat on the back, like, don't forget that, you know, you made a big difference, and
Big
we all
time.
made a big difference. So, but I'm glad that you're remembering all those names, because that is really what it's about.
Oh, I grew up, you know what? I grew up watching and being a fan, and, you know, people always said to me, oh, this is just a phase. And, like, it's not, though. You know, like, I loved watching these films. I still love watching them. I have a daughter who's 10 years old, so now I get to show her what I was into, and some of it works. Some of it's like, oh, daddy, I don't know. Like, I'm not
Right?
really, yeah, but it's
you know,
cool because she
yeah,
introduces me to
I
her
get it.
stuff.
With internet and with, like, I mean, again, when we did these films, there was no way to see something without going into the movie theater or actually watching it live in television.
Right.
So the fact that we could, even like from VHSs to you know, now streaming, it's like, for the ability for your daughter to watch our stuff, like my stuff, or of our age, is a gift. It's freaking crazy. It's such a real gift. And the other thing I wanted to say was that the movies that we watched during the 80s were very upbeat, and it makes you feel good. They were feel good movies. They were about relationships. They were about teenagers' lives. And I don't know, you know, movies today are not like that. It's you know, everything's a superhero. Everything's is higher, above, and there's no kind of role modeling how behavior should be. I mean, not all of them, obviously. I know that there are a lot of amazing filmmakers who are doing that, but maybe perhaps the studios are focusing on the things that people can't recreate,
Right.
and you know, or the special effects. But truly, I believe that filmmaking is going to go back to much more intimate and personal experiences and relationships, and
I think that's where it should go.
perhaps
Like, I mean, like,
yeah.
even like, I feel like also now, independent film is on the rise. You know, you see a lot of great ideas done by studios and not putting in the mega bucks behind it, but they actually have a good story to tell. And just, you know, A24, for example, like the movies that they put out, they're really raising the bar. You know, it's
funny you say that. I just noticed a film recently. I was like, wow, really cool. Yeah, A24 is doing some really great things.
Right.
Great work.
I love also that you said about teenage and relationships and everything, and it's going to bring me into one of the movies that you were in that I wanted to discuss, and that's The Last American Virgin. I saw this movie when I definitely was I'm not going to say way too young, because it pressed on so many controversial things, you know, seeing
By the way, everybody saw it way too young. So
yeah.
don't-
Okay,
don't
cool.
worry.
All right. So
I
yeah.
talk to people and they go, I was like 8 years old. I'm like, where were your parents? And I
Yeah, no, my brother was watching me, and you know what? He was 7 years older than me, and he was just like, yeah, whatever. Like, he'll put it on, and, you know, like, I feel like, you know, there's The Last American Virgin and there's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So, I mean,
Right.
they have their similarities, but I feel like the way that The Last American Virgin turns and goes, I don't think Fast Times had the balls to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to put that
that's
movie
a really
down.
great thing to say. I completely agree. But to me, I see it as the Last American Virgin was by a European director with European story. It was his life, and so he was very much about the truth, you know, of his life. So he, like you said, you know, he was going to tell the truth no matter what. With Fast Times, that was an American director, and
I'm not taking it away from her. I love that movie. Like,
it's great.
It's
And
fantastic.
Beth, who was in Better Off Dead, was in that movie too.
Yes.
So points, you know. And I remember when we did when Virgin and Fast Times were coming out, we were kind of in a race to get our film out first. We started our film earlier, but when Fast Times hit, it was kind of like, who's going to get that first film out? But I think that both of those films filled the gap of that. They really started so much of those teen films.
Sure.
They were, you know, Last American Virgin was one of the, I think, if not the first film that used all popular music you know,
The soundtrack's killer.
the soundtrack. That they didn't do that before
No.
that film. I don't think. If I'm wrong, someone tell me. But to my understanding, that was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, no, the soundtrack it still holds up. You know, you got the Cars in it, and you got REO Speedwagon, and you look at all these tunes, and they were hits. Like, you know,
Police,
there's not the Police,
yeah.
you know? Like, I can't imagine the royalties that these bands, if it was now, would ask for to get used in a movie like that. Like,
Yeah.
because
Or
it
they
was.
just say no. You know, they would
Yeah.
just say.
And the music actually drives, like, you know, I've always said that the score or the music, it's like picked perfectly for the spot. You know, like, let's just say I want to take a part of the movie. The part where you leave the library and you're upset because you just told Rick what was going on, and then Gary's coming to the rescue, and you got Journey Open Arms. I'm like, dude, you can't get like a better song
Moment.
to get that moment in the feels, you know, like, holy shit, here you are, like, you know, I'm going to say cherub face because you have a cherub face in that movie. You're like an angel, you know, and like you're crying and you feel fucking crushed for you. And then all of a sudden you got Steve Perry singing to you, and it's just like, holy shit, like, how much more tender can you possibly get?
It's not corny.
No, it's
know?
not corny. No, I don't
That's
care.
what's
You
so
know,
great about
I'm a
the
big
film.
dude. I don't give a shit. I'll cry. I'll tell you when I cry. I love movies to make me cry. I love movies to give me something to always remember. And Last American Virgin will give me that every time. I just watched it again last night because I wanted to bring myself back, because I usually watch it every couple of years. And
You can watch it again. It is a film that you can watch. I mean, people watch it a lot, and
sure.
I it's funny, after years, like when I did it, you know, I was more shy because obviously we didn't have the internet. We didn't have, I didn't even realize how many people had seen it or watched it. And now it's like, I can't tell you how heartfelt so many guys have been affected by that film. They've come to me and said, like, I'm at conventions, they've come to me and said, I didn't get my girlfriend pregnant because of you, or like, how could you do that to the guy? Like, so many guys were invested in that film emotionally, and I thought, I don't know how many films engage guys that way. Like, that film it brought out the heart too.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, if you look at it from, like, you know, an outsider's perspective, you're looking at it like the dude comes to the rescue, you know, he sells off all his shit. His boy is already with another girl and they're going away, and like,
Yeah.
now he's like selling off his shit to like take care of you and everything. And then you're like, oh man, yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's a birthday party. This is going to be the big climactic, like, amazing
Happy
ending
we really want, right?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, just James Taylor. Oh, no, not James Taylor. Oh my god!
It was, isn't it? Is it?
Just once.
I did my best.
Yeah.
It was Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then that song, you hear that already in the movie beforehand, and it's kind of like a foreshadow that song is going to be played again, and then it does. Yeah. It comes again, and like, just yeah.
The thing that was interesting is also the marketing of that film, because it always was referred to as a comedy, and it's like a sex comedy, right? Like,
yeah.
It lures the guys in with, like, there's going to be girls, they're going to be naked, and, it's like, ooh, fun, party. So what's really interesting about the film is, and you watch it and you're thinking, well, this is a light film, and it's, I don't have to, like, I'm not watching a heavy film. It's fun, light, cool, sexy, like, let's just watch this. And then it shifts in tone.
Sure.
And it becomes the darkest, saddest movie for so many people. And it so much so that I actually just was at American Cinematique, and they had it. It was, I think, was the first film they showed for Bleak Week, which means like it was the week of the bleakest films, and they chose it. Isn't that crazy? And the guy who Daniel, I forgot the last name, but he wrote Heathers.
Is it Daniel Farrens?
Yes.
Okay.
No, not Daniel Farrens. The one who did who wrote Heathers.
Oh.
And I'm just having a blank. But he interviewed me, and I just was so honored that he liked the film because he wrote Heathers, which is a very great movie as well.
I love that
And
movie.
you're right. It's interesting. Another thing too is some movies hold up and some don't. So I'm curious. Do you think Last American Virgin holds up?
Yes, of course. Definitely. I mean, because like it holds up because of it just tells a different, it's unique in the way that it ends, because let's just say Gary gets with you at the end of the movie. Then it's going to be just like almost every other movie.
Yeah.
But because it has that slap in the face and you're like, holy shit, like, oh, this is just like, you crawl into a fetal position and you want to just die.
Nicely put.
Right? I didn't even think about that.
Absolutely.
Daniel, I just looked it up. It's Daniel Waters.
Waters, that's right.
Yeah. Which Heathers is another movie that ends like, it has its happy ending, but that tells a crazy story of like, taboo stuff and everything. The dude wants to blow up a school, like it's
right.
Yeah. Like,
and that was
pushing boundaries
back then. That was crazy.
Sure. But do you know what? They did it in a way that was kind of like tongue in cheek, and they slipped things in there, back when, even with the, with the gay elements in the movie and everything, back then when that movie was made, like, it wasn't, not saying it wasn't acceptable, but it wasn't out in the forefront now how it is now,
Right.
So
yeah.
These are innovators that are making strides to put whatever they feel strong about or whatever. I can't imagine, like, let's just say The Last American Virgin came out today. I think they would be picketing it. I think they would try to get the movie canceled because of so
many aspects of it.
Yeah, because people fear that.
Teenagers act like adults.
Right, teenagers making decisions like trying, the whole abortion thing.
Yeah, you never even see my parents. I'm just the girl. You never.
Yeah, I never thought of that. You don't see your parents at all. You just showed up.
I'm just off on my own. It's interesting because that is the feeling of growing up in the 80s. You were an adult early. You left home at 18. That was normal. Like it wasn't hard and almost impossible to do as today. Financially. Also, I was going to say that the thing that was really great about Virgin is it's a timeless story. So relationships, like we talk, between a guy and a girl, and you fall in love with the girl and she may not notice you, and all that is so still, it's a human experience. It's a human element that you can experience in any time period.
It's true.
So for that reason, I also believe I think it's gonna, who knows? I never know. I always wonder what film that I did will survive. Because you're right, if Virgin came out now, maybe it would be completely destroyed. It's hidden, and maybe it will be. I don't know. I really wonder what film will live on.
I mean, they're called classics. I mean, whether you're looking at them, I'm even, we were just talking about Better Off Dead. You could put Better Off Dead up there too, because it lives on because of the quotes. Every time, there's not a day that doesn't go by where I mentioned something that happened in Better Off Dead, the $2 thing. I've had people at work that we just talk in movie quotes all the time. So
there's so many great quotes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's actors that, that mainstream, you're seeing them start off, like John Cusack right now is a mega actor. He's been there, done so many things, and this is like him kind of like getting into his own, breaking that fourth wall, looking at you and talking to you. I love those movies that John Cusack does that to you, because I feel like there's not that many actors that can do that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies is High Fidelity. And it's because he does that, and it's because it's music, and it's just like he bases his life around like the music in his life and everything. He works in a record store. Like, I feel like
I think he might have either produced it or co-written or something.
He definitely is in the writing in that movie.
Yeah, I think it was the writing.
Yeah.
And that for part of that, I mean, if he was more involved in that, he'd be very I think he has. I think that's probably the movie that he loves the most.
Oh
Because he was
yeah,
such
oh yeah,
an artist.
definitely. I met him at Monster Mania in Cherry Hill a couple years ago, and I had him sign my soundtrack and everything. And I remember when they had the High Fidelity miniseries, not miniseries, but show that came out, and I was like, how are they going to possibly pull this off? But they did such a great job. Like, I thought that he wasn't in it, but it was, Zoe Kravitz did such an awesome job with it and everything, and I recommend it for fans of it.
I'm very excited because John and I are supposed to be together uh in the 80s. It's called the Sands now, but it used to be called 80s in the Sands.
Okay.
Convention in Cancun this November. It's the first week of November. It's a week-long 80s vacation. You would love it. You'd go crazy. The bands, like, they have an array of bands. Like, you check out the list, look up the Sands, and you'll see. It's look up, if you go look, the Sands.rocks.
Okay.
And
is it like a cruise, or is it just a destination kind of like?
It's a destination. It's a hotel. It's adults, and it's a week-long time where you go, and there's food everywhere. There's 80s music playing everywhere, and there's 80s kind of events. And then every night they have 2 bands play, and the bands are legit, and they have the real people from the bands.
Wow.
So, like, one year they had like Billy Idol, and then they've had oh my gosh, they had The Cult, and they had Sebastian Bach, and they had you got to just
you're
take a look
speaking
at
my language,
Motel,
Diane.
The Go-Go's. Like, I mean, like, I can't even. You will, people. I'm telling you, if you're an 80s person, you will lose your mind. And every year they'll have a few actors come. I am such a fan of this event. I've gone for, I think this might be my 7th or 6th year. I may have missed maybe one. But
that's awesome.
They have, like, they had Andrew McCarthy there. They had Daphne Zuniga. They had Catherine Mary Stewart. They had Kelly Maroney. They had Julie Montgomery. They had, Curtis Armstrong. So this year it will be Amanda Wyss, John, and I, and one more guest. I'm hoping it's Curtis, but whoever it is, it'll be great. I'm not sure who it is.
Wow.
But,
so yeah, the 40th anniversary. That's 40th crazy. Anniversary.
They're the only people who've gotten us all together with John. Like, it's never happened before. So it's worth it.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, Tony, I don't know, man. I might find the one going there. You never know, right?
Definitely check it out. Look at the musicians who are there. It's such a fun time. It's so fun.
That's so cool. I just
like, there's a meet and greet, and you can, for us, like, there'll be a meet and greet. You get to take pictures with the actors, and then with the musicians, I don't know if they do a meet and greet, but I think they might. And if not, it's like a standing room only. So people, I guess there are chairs way in the back you could sit in, but you can go in, listen to the musician, leave, maybe get a drink, come back. It's very relaxed. And the people are so nice because everybody you meet loves the 80s.
Yeah, so you're in like-minded. Yeah, you're with like-minded people and everything. It kind of sounds like, I went on the Jay and Silent Bob cruise like 2 years ago. And it was something similar to that, I believe. Like, we were on the cruise though, but they had like screenings and stuff. They had script readings, and then they had the bands. But this is like, I kind of like this better because it's kind of like you don't have to be on a cruise and you can just hang it out. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I gotta look into this.
Yeah, people go year after year. They make friends from it. I've seen it's just amazing. And what was interesting about this particular event, and by the way, they're not paying me to say this, I'm such a fan of it. It's so funny, even my family's like, are you going again this year? And I'm like, well, yeah, but like, I didn't know you like 80s so much. It's just funny. My daughter is a comedian, and she loves it, and she's 29 now, but she's been going for years, and it's funny because it's more of like, our age crowd. So yeah, it's just funny. Anyway.
That's so cool. So your daughter, she's doing like, you said she's a comedian, so she does kind of following in the same footsteps as you, like, like performing and everything.
My daughter is she's a comedian. She writes her own material with her comedy partner Sydney Heller, and they have a girl comedy team, and they actually have a podcast called Sid and Olivia Talk Shit. So, my mom, I'm like, come on, Olivia. No. So anyway, so she's got that going, and they do sketches. So she's not like a stand-up comedian. She's like a sketch comedian. They come up with ideas and they do sketches. So if you check it out, they are hilarious. They've also done shows. They do, and then Olivia has acted also. She's been in movies and television, and she was on the series. And so, but her main thing is her comedy. And all I can tell you is both of the girls are hilarious. They are brilliant. So she does that. And then my son is a classical musician.
Wow.
And he plays the upright bass. And then he plays
sick.
The upright bass for orchestras, but he also plays the regular bass for an indie band called Swatch.
What is it called?
Swatches.
Swatches.
80s, right? Swatches. But they don't play 80s music, but that's the name of the band, Swatches.
That's awesome.
And his name is Nick De Laurentiis.
There it is. Wow, that's right. I wanted to ask you. So you are married to De Laurentiis. So obviously that name in Hollywood, that's synonymous. I mean, like Dino De Laurentiis, he was he the director of Amityville 2, or he produced it?
No, he was the producer.
Okay.
In fact, that's what's really interesting. I met Dino way before I met my husband, and my husband had never even met Dino. I met Dino. I knew Dino from Amityville Part 2. He was the producer.
Okay.
Also, I don't know if people know this, but he was also the producer on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. But supposedly he didn't understand the humor, so he let it go, and somebody else produced it. But I think it's kind of interesting that my life has
totally. That's
by the De Laurentiises.
That's so cool. I actually wanted to talk to you about Amityville too, because I know you grew up in Long Island, right?
I did.
Right.
I did, and I am so excited because I grew up there, but I haven't been there in so long. My family's no longer there, and so I haven't had reason to come back. And I've wanted to do a convention there. And the year that I was almost going to get there was COVID hit. The summer COVID. And so I didn't come. But I'm actually going back to Long Island for a screening of Amityville on
August 8th.
The 8th. Is it the 8th?
Yes, it is. And actually, it's funny that you say that, because it's going to be taking place at Cinema Arts Center. So we could do a plug together for this, because Cinema Arts Center.
Come see me. Come visit. It'll be fun.
So Diana's going to be at Cinema Arts Center on August 8th. And Cinema Arts Center is the new sponsor of the Primal Scream podcast. They have very cool features going on. So that day, they're doing a double feature of Better Off Dead and Amityville 2.
One will be Amityville, right?
Yeah.
For more mature audiences. You take the kids home before you go there.
So Diane's going to be there. She's going to meet people and do a introduction to the film and everything. And totally worth it. I'm going to be doing a live broadcast from there. So I can't wait. That's going to be an awesome event. Now, so you grew up in Long Island. Now, doing Amityville, the movie, were you familiar in the lore of what the events that took place that kind of spearheaded this whole Amityville horror thing?
I knew of the Amityville actual murders that happened in 1974.
Yes.
But I was a kid then. So I was 12 or something. So
Right.
I heard of it, but I wasn't, it wasn't something and it was a couple of towns away. But it wasn't something that I was worried about because I was still a kid,
Right.
But there were real murders then. And the interesting part was, when I got the script, I was 20. And so when I read it, people have asked me if I've done research. And I went, I am definitely not doing research, because I had to play a character that was really innocent. So I needed to be completely open and relaxed. And if I had done any research, I would have been more nervous.
Right.
So, but I did feel, obviously, because I came from Long Island, I think I felt more of an affinity to be able to do the character. And I was, I remember getting that script. I knew I wanted to do a horror film. And it's funny, every time you get a script, you don't know what's going to happen with it. I mean, you have to trust the directors. You don't know how they're going to do it. And that's why it's like every actor who gets a script, they're kind of like, sometimes the scripts don't translate how they're going to be done. Sometimes it's just like, it's written in a way that you're like, wait, I don't know about that. And I've read scripts that actually have become big famous films that weren't written very well for the actor. I would read it and I'd be like, I'm not doing that, or that's weird, or something along the lines of like, it was not written well, but then you kind of have to trust when you hear who's involved to be able to do it. And when I heard that James Olsen, Retanya Alda, and Burt Young were going to do it, that gave me more of a confidence to say, okay, this is going to be legit. They wouldn't do something that wasn't legit. So, or even if the film wasn't a great film, I knew that I'd be able to learn from them. So,
I think it surpasses the original, honestly, like in spookiness and everything, because, the original does have its elements of like scary and everything, but this, this movie was...
This is the real deal. This is, I think, the grittiest of all the films.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And again, you can tell me, like, I think it still holds up because of the subject matter. It's just so... It's just so shocking.
It is, because, they touch on...
For anybody, but yeah, like, if you've seen it, it's...
They touch on stuff that's kind of definitely taboo and everything, and it's just like... Whoa,
that doesn't go away.
No.
Like, been there, done that, like it's heavy duty. So I think I think it still holds up too. What do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because of, if you add that element into the real life story of this going on or whatever, God knows what was going on behind those doors for that young man to do what he did. I mean, obviously, the story's changed so many times. I mean, he's not alive anymore, but every time he did an interview, I'm a true crime aficionado. That's actually the reason why I started this podcast. When I don't know if you're familiar with it, but when the Gilgo suspect got arrested, I got interviewed through a couple of local stations because I went to the house and I was waiting for my moment to have like an interview or whatever for that.
Wow.
So it kind of like spearheaded me into doing like a podcast or whatever. But
I think it's fascinating.
What's that?
I think it's fascinating. I think that's, I mean, again, like the other thing about Amityville is because it's based on a true story. Dino, that was the big thing. Like Amityville Horror was considered a narrative based on a true story, but it was so like they tried to move it around. So when Dino put out Amityville 2, there were all these disclaimers that has nothing to do with the first movie. He didn't want to pay the rights. It was like a totally separate thing. So that's
why it's called Amityville.
Has to have the movies in the house and half the movies out of the house in sort of an exorcism. It's about an exorcism, the second part. So that film, though, it's scary because it is based on true life. And I think people can relate to the abuse, the physical abuse.
Sure.
I think people can relate to it still today.
Absolutely.
And I was honored to do it.
Yeah, no, you pulled it off, and like you said, it did look like a family from Long Island that, like, to the naked eye, it looks like everything's fine, but once you get behind closed doors, there's so many other things that are going on, and then on top of it, you're moving into a house that has shit going on too, so things are not going to work out.
And I believe that. I believe some places have good energy and some places have really bad energy.
Without a doubt.
Right? You walk into a place and immediately, like, this is not my place. I got to go. It's
absolutely.
not.
Absolutely. My my ex-wife. She's a magnet to that stuff. She always picks up on energy. You could pick up on positive energy from people. You could pick up on negative energy, even through like body language and everything. And you could see, you could feel stuff in certain points or whatever. And anytime we've ever gone places, for an example, the Conjuring, when that first came out, Lorraine Warren, who was a demonologist at the time, she was still alive. She actually did work in the Amityville Horror, but she had her house open up to the public, and you could go there for seances and everything.
Oh my god!
So we went there, and like it was such an event, and like we just, I don't know, we went to this local store near there, and we bought some charms or whatever, and we had this like wicked blowout fight like on the way home, and we just felt like we attached ourselves to something negative or whatever, and like we got rid of the charms.
Wow.
We didn't even want to bring them into the house. It was pretty crazy. Yeah.
See, yeah. Speaking of Amityville, I just want to add one more thing.
Sure.
When I go to see the movie, I think the one thing I really want to do is visit the house. So I think during this visit I'm going to visit the house. So if I do, I'll take video and pictures because
you gotta.
My whole life has been revolved around Amityville. I even did another Amityville movie called Amityville Murders.
That's right. You just recently did that like a couple of years ago, right?
Mm-hmm. And Daniel Farrens, who you mentioned before, wrote it and directed it. And boy, it was a beautiful film, and we did a great job. And that was really more about the crime that happened. And it's just, if you happen to see, it's called Amityville Murders, but look up Amityville Murders movie, and you'll see. And so the cool thing for me was in Amityville 2, The Possession, I played the daughter.
Yep.
And this film, I played the mother. And there is no other actress who'd played the two different characters in basically the same story.
Wow, that's cool.
So my perspective changed when I did it. And when I told you I played it really innocent. When I did Amityville Possession, like I had to play a girl who was pure.
Yeah,
so I
absolutely.
deflected all the bad energy. When I played the mother, weird things happened. And I kid you not, like, because now as a mother, I'm taking on my kids' energy, like I'm protective.
Sure.
So what they did was they made, on the Blu-ray, they interviewed all of us in the film and asked if something strange happened. And I didn't know, but other weird things happened to people in the film. And I remember people kept asking Ratanya Alda, who played my mom in Amityville 2, The Possession, if something weird happened. And she had weird things happen. So when you play a mother in character, you are more connected and sensitive to the other actors and the environment because you're the protector.
Sure.
You put yourself in that world or in a place, and then you feel that. So some crazy things. I just couldn't believe it.
I got to look that up now. I got to watch that that one that came out. Yeah, there's so many different Amityville movies that came about like in the last years or whatever that they fall by the wayside or whatever. But I'm gonna definitely look that up on your IMDb and like search that out because I definitely like to check that out. You were talking a little bit. What's that?
About Waking Nightmares, because that is a role that I really was insane. This character, it's another movie, but it's a movie called Waking Nightmares. So check that out. I don't know if anyone's seen that. If you like horror,
I never heard of it. So what's when did that come out?
Indeed, maybe 20. I'm gonna say 2020 or 20. Let me think. When did that come out? Maybe 20. It might have even come out more recently, 2022 or something. But I did it years ago. But what happened was it didn't come out for a while. And the reason why I'm bringing that film up is because it's about a girl. It's Waking Nightmare. It's about a girl who commits murders in her sleep, and I play her mother. And my husband is Jamison Newlander, who was in Lost Boys.
Yeah. He's one of the Frog Brothers.
Right. He was a Frogmas, right. So, and he plays my husband, and Shelley Regner, who is in Pitch Perfect, she plays our daughter. But in that film, my role was like, people were like, oh my God, Diane, like, this is like, you've never seen me like this. So I'm bringing it up just because I've played a lot of different roles, but this is a role. Let's put it this way. After you see Waking Nightmare, you may not You may be afraid of me. You may be afraid. And that's a funny thought. Yeah,
I can never be afraid of you.
Yeah, I know. See, that's why I'm like, you might be. But then go
Yeah,
back and
you
watch
never know, though. You never know.
So,
You gave me fair warning, so.
yeah, I did. There you go.
So, going back now, you talked a little bit about Bill and Ted. Were there any great memories working with George Carlin that you can remember?
George was such a sweetheart. I actually worked with him twice in the same film. The first thing that happened was we worked with him in Arizona. We shot the end of the movie of Bill and Ted's in Arizona, and because originally the boys were taking us to the San Dimas prom, and we were dressed up as princesses, and it looked very normal because we were all at the prom, and the boys wore tuxes, and then pants were cut at the knee, and they wore high tops with sneakers, high top sneakers, and high socks, and it was lovely. And we were prom king and prom queens, both of us. So that's how it sort of ended in that way.
Queen Joanna.
Yes, Princess. No, I was Princess Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
And there's a reason why it's confusing. It's because somebody got the credits wrong. Because the boys never say her name in the film. They never say Princess Elizabeth or Princess Joanna at any point. So the person just had to take a guess, and I guess they guessed it wrong. So, I know. And so for years, I was signing Princess Joanna on autographs. Somewhere there were those collector's items. But now I signed the Princess Elizabeth because that was my original role. I knew I was Elizabeth, but when the film came out, I thought, oh, people are not going to understand that, so I'll just write Joanna. So somewhere these are collector's items.
That's awesome, though. You gave like now even worth like a little bit more. That'd be cool.
A little bit more,
if they want to do that.
So with George, we worked with him on that. And again, in Arizona, he came out of the phone booth and he took us both out. And then we went up on stage and there was a band. And we shot the whole thing. But then after watching it, I think they thought, we don't want to end it on the prom. We want to end them being musicians. And maybe that was part of them thinking that they were going to bring Bill and Ted back at that moment. I don't know. But they said, we want the girls in the band. So about maybe a month later, I get this call. Oh, we're going to reshoot the ending. We're going to go to a garage and we're going to shoot it inside the garage. And there was George again. And just such a gentleman, so soft-spoken. It was just beautiful. He has a beautiful voice. And I was just so surprised because of, he's so out, foul-mouthed on stage, and he's so beautifully honest. In the way he projects his life. And he's so strong as a stage performer. And then when he meets us, we're like, hello, nice to meet you. I'm George. And we were all like, all of us, Keanu, Alex, and Kimberly, we were all completely shocked that he was so genteel and well-mannered. And we were all so nervous and excited to work with him.
That's so cool.
All of us knew him, so it is funny, we get starstruck too. Yeah, no,
I love George Carlin. I mean, growing up watching his stuff and everything, and for the limited movies that he did, it's really cool to see him step out and do something different. I don't know if you know this story about him though. He did Dogma with Kevin Smith's Dogma, and he agreed to do it.
I've seen it.
But,
I haven't seen.
Okay, so he plays Cardinal Glick. He plays a cardinal that changes the image of Jesus, and he makes it into a thing called the Buddy Christ. And what happens is now it messes up like this whole thing with fallen angels, and they can get back into heaven by making God's word infallible. It's this whole thing, but he wants to do the movie when Kevin Smith asked him to do it, but the thing that happened is about 6 months beforehand, his wife passed away. So at that point, he didn't want to take off his wedding ring. So he asked Kevin Smith, listen, I'll do the movie, but can I put a Band-Aid on my wedding rings? Because I'm not ready to take it off. And Kevin Smith wanted them so bad, he was like, listen, I don't care what you do. You chop
Wow.
whatever you want to do. Just I want you, George. And I thought that was just so like such a sweet thing to hear. Like the man obviously
that is
had the love of his life, and he wasn't ready to do it.
yeah. See, there's the part of George that a lot of people maybe don't know.
Right.
And a lot of comedians are very they're very sensitive emotionally, like they feel things deeply, and the way they can cope is through comedy. I mean, not all comedies. A lot of great comedy is not meant to be funny. It's very direct and straight up. So that's makes a statement.
Sure.
And also, I think a lot of great comedians say what audiences are too afraid to say.
Oh,
That's
yeah, of course.
Job is to say what the audience is too afraid, but they're thinking. And actors are here to feel what audiences are too afraid to feel or to express. That's what actors, I believe,
do. Of course, they're putting it out there for us. They're giving us our time away from like reality to entertain us for a couple of hours, and it's something.
Feeling maybe that you go, oh, like I buried that, and whoa, here it is. So.
Okay, so is there any dream collaborations of an actor, or actress, or director that you'd love to work with?
Oh my gosh, yes, so many. Oh my goodness, I'd love to work with Quentin Tarantino.
Sure.
But I understand that I may not be in his vision, of what he works with. So that's I do it, or Wes Anderson, obviously, like that's so, but that's very stylized. But I would also I would like to work with Ben Stiller, like just and I don't know. There's so many things I would also love to work with. I know this is kind of funny. I don't know if you know this. What We Do in the Shadows had a series. Loved the series. So funny. And Jermaine Clement was in charge of it with Taika Waititi, I think, or
with Tiki,
but I just think they're hilarious. I would love to work with them. But I do understand, everybody has their type or their person they work with. But there's so many. Gosh, there's so many. Those are like directors. I'm trying to think.
But I could see Tarantino working with you because you were an '80s like starlet from these movies that came out, and he likes to go back to like reintroduce the world to those actors. So
what I
you never know.
Is I've never done an action film, but I'm very much into that. Like I would like to try. So I'm not afraid with working knives or guns. The only thing I have one thing that I won't do. I don't want to be decapitated. Not happening.
No.
I know that some people. I said this on another's a podcast, and I was like, no, we don't do that. Like that's not my thing. Bleeding fine, dying fine, but I've died in some movies. But I think what would be interesting is to take. I love interesting roles, interesting parts. That's what I'm into. Something that's challenging and that the audience wouldn't expect me to be playing. And that's why I'll do certain parts. Like I actually have done some films that are coming out. I did a movie called Vampire, which is coming out this year. It is about Bambi as a vampire, and it's scary, and it's very much 80s. I mean, meaning that it's very old school, not 80s. It's old school.
Okay.
But in that one, I play a teacher, but a mean teacher, kind of a teacher that you wouldn't expect. I think mean, funny mean. And then I did another movie that's called, I think they changed the names. Something in Deb take over the world. I forgot the first name of the girl, but the boy. So anyway, that's going to be. There's another movie, and I play sort of like a Vincent Price narrator, and I also did a series called Riding with Pride, and I play a mom who had passed away, and so that's kind of ghostly. And then I played another. I just did a movie called The Retailer. So I'm doing some roles here and there. I'm still acting.
No, you sound like you're busy. You got some stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, I've got some. These movies come, and if I like a script, if somebody sends me a script and I like it, then I go, okay, sure, and I've had the time. And I also teach. I teach kids, so and I teach acting. So I coach actors. So I'm busy. But I love also nostalgia. I'm so happy Better Off Dead is having the recognition it's having.
It should. It should. It's a classic. It's a cult classic, and it's awesome that that this anniversary is coming up, and you guys are doing this. Hopefully, it all goes well, where you can do that that gathering that you were talking about, the Sands. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, also, and I don't know if people know this, but I wrote a book about Better Off Dead, and so when I go to these conventions or screenings, I will have my books there, and I sign them. And it's like I wrote this book, it took like 2 years to write, and it's just if you're a Better Off Dead fan, it's a no-brainer. You got to get this book. It's called I called it the excellent comedy of the last American French exchange babe of the 80s, which is me. So it gives you an idea of how funny it is. And Savage Steve Holland sent me all these incredible stories that when he sent it to me, I started laughing. Savage Steve Holland, without him, obviously I wouldn't be sitting here today. So if you are interested, you can also get it online. You could get it at Amazon, or I also sign it on my website, like DianeFranklin.com.
Are you going to have it at Cinema Arts Center?
Yes, I will bring them.
Awesome. I will definitely pick up a copy. I'm not going to lie. Like the other day, I'm not much of a reader because what happens is I start reading and then I start drifting. I wanted to see if there was an audio book because I was going to buy the audio book because I had like a car ride. But that's okay. I'll buy it.
I have to do an audio. I haven't done it yet. So
yeah, maybe then you could do like the French version of it.
But if that would be fantastic. You're right. I would do it in dialect. Hello? Bonjour.
I wanted to ask you, are there any roles back in the day that you passed on or you didn't get that you still think about today?
Well, there's many. I mean, first of all, I auditioned for Flashdance.
Whoa.
That would have been, I got a call back, which would have been, I would have loved that because I do also dance.
You do.
And I sing. And it would have been amazing. I have so many other things I do, but that would have been really, really fun. I've always wanted to sing and dance in something. I would have loved to. I auditioned for Karate Kid, and it was myself and Elizabeth Shue, and then one other girl. I don't know who the girl was, but what I think is interesting about it is when I screen test. It was between the three of us, and I felt at that point that I had played a character similar to that. So that wasn't something that I was like, I've got to do that. But I do wonder sometimes it's interesting, like the movies that I was like, I'm not, I don't really have to get that, but that would have changed my whole life being on that film.
Sure. Can you imagine if the Karate Kid had the ending like The Last American Virgin, though?
Oh.
He loses in the finals, and then all of a sudden she's like, all right, Daniel, I'm out of here, so I'm going to go with Johnny.
I think that would almost be more devastating because that would probably be worse, I think.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because the focus would have been so much, I don't know, it is different.
Well, she does leave him in the second one for some college dude. So, she crashes his car up, and then that's how the second one... whatever. That's how it starts. Yeah, Allie with an I. It was Allie with an I, but you were Karen with a K.
Karen with a K. That's funny. That's funny. They did that. I think and also it's very interesting when you do movies how it affects today. Like people watch movies. I wonder sometimes who has seen Better Off Dead, who has seen Virgin, like of all like people, how's it affected filmmakers who make new things. Like somebody told me recently that I guess what do you call it, South Park has sketches on Better Off Dead, like has mixed references.
Oh, I'm sure it does. I'm sure they do. I mean, it's
said that they made a reference for Better Off Dead.
It was big. Better Off Dead when it first came out, it was on cable like every single day. Like I remember watching that movie like nonstop. And it's just like it's just I just grew up with it and everything. You know, I remember Last American Virgin wasn't as accessible. I remember it was on VHS and then it disappeared for a long time.
Yeah.
And then finally,
cool things, and then they put them out again. And
yeah.
You know what's interesting also, by the way, TerrorVision. I don't know if you've ever heard of that movie.
Yes, I did.
It's now become a big cult film. Like, people love the movie. And I went to a midnight screening, and the place was packed. And I was really happy for Ted Nicolai, who's the writer-director, Nicolau, who wrote and directed the film. Because when it came out, it wasn't a hit. And people didn't understand the humor. They didn't understand the parody of it yet, because it was still in the 80s. It came back, I think it came out in 1987. And it was so sad because we all got it. I mean, all the actors read it and went, oh, this is so funny. This is hilarious. And it's like a live action cartoon. So if you haven't seen TerrorVision, highly recommend it. It's like PG-13, except for some of the artwork in the background's a little bit more mature. But, I think kids, it was like Nagel style, Nagel. But that's the only thing that's a little bit like woohoo. But other than that, it's hilarious.
Okay. I have just rapid fire questions for you right now, and then we're going to wrap up this interview. But you've been awesome. I really do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And this
Nice.
So awesome. Okay. Your favorite ice cream?
Oh, okay. This is really hard. I'm going to just go with dark chocolate.
Okay.
For men.
It's hard. I mean, but I'm cutting to the chase. Yeah.
Your guilty pleasure movie or band?
Oh, that's so hard. Oh, guilty pleasure movie or band? That my mind is exploding. That
like for me, it's Grease 2.
Oh, I see. No, it's guilty pleasure. Probably some kind of a musical, I guess.
All right.
Dang, guilty. See, I like a lot of deep, heavy things. So, but I also. Oh, okay. Well, wait. Okay, can I do TV with that?
Sure.
Ghost Adventures.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. This may be a little risky, but it's about your co-stars from The Last American Virgin. Fuck, marry, or kill. Rick, Gary, and the Big Apple.
Oh my god. Never tell. Oh my gosh. I don't even know if I should answer that. That's.
I mean, the movie kind of answers two of them almost.
Willikers.
You don't have to. I just wanted to ask.
I'm gonna leave that out, and we'll bring that another time. That I have to think about that one.
The Go-Go's or the Bangles?
I do love the Bangles, and I've seen them in it, but I have to say the Go-Go's because that might have been my guilty pleasure actually.
There you go. Cool.
Yeah, I like the Go-Go's at the beginning. Yeah, I really like them. So yeah.
New York or L.A.?
All right. I'm sorry, everybody. New York.
Yeah.
I'm from LA, but I'm sorry.
Love it. One special talent that nobody knows you could do. Oh wait, I don't know
Sing
what
opera.
happened.
Sing opera.
Oh, sing opera. Oh, that's awesome. It's so weird that you even said this, and I put it as a pick, and you said that you auditioned for it. Footloose or Flashdance?
Flashdance.
Okay. So yeah, I mean
Although, I could see I do wonder why I never even got an audition for Footloose. But maybe people didn't know I could dance.
Yeah.
So the thing I danced.
Or sing opera.
Yeah. That's true.
That's great. You hitting it.
At Dodger Stadium, so there you go.
Dodger Stadium.
Dodger Stadium, I got there. Yes, it was very nice.
All right, kids. I have want to thank my my two sponsors, Mr. Beery's, the Long Island CBGBs. Thank you very much. There's always something to do there. Monday nights, Monday Okie. Tuesday night is vinyl night. Wednesday night is video game night. Thursday, there's still time tonight to go to do open mic night. Tomorrow night, Time Collapse and Cross Island Sound are going to be there. And on the 12th, Bending Over Backwards is going to be there. I'd like to thank my newest sponsor, Cinema Arts Center. I already plugged the 8/8 Better Off Dead / Amityville 2 screening that the lovely Diane Franklin is going to be in attendance to.
You're going to love it. We're going to have a blast.
Yes, so definitely go down there that night. I'm going to be there, but more importantly, she's going to be there, and this is who you want to meet. So, also 9/5, this September 5th, Toxic Avenger and Mr. Melvin are doing a double feature, and Lloyd Kaufman from Tromaville is going to be in attendance. The next couple of weeks, I already got some guests lined up already. On 7/24, I'm going to have Pat Kennedy. He is the host of the Long Island Convention of Horror. You know what, Diane? I'm going to have him reach out to you because we're going to do that in March. So that might give you another reason to come back to New York and Long Island.
Love it.
August 7th, the day before the 8th, Lloyd and Forrest from Cineflies are going to be in His House. We're going to be talking about our new short film. August 8th, like I said, I'm going to be live from Cinema Arts Center. And on August 28th, Jessa Flux from Tromaville, and Jessa does all. She's going to be via Zoom for a interview. And yeah, that's it. Demon Scar just got booked for our show in Jason's Woods in October. That's going to be Columbus Day weekend. And yeah, there's always something new. And so, yeah, that's really it. Diane, again, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And such a great time. Thank you so much again.
I had a blast. You tell your friends we had fun.
And she spoke French to me.
It was, yes, indeed. Very nice.
Very nice.
Tell them to eat French fries, French bread, French dressing, and Peru.
I love it. Thank you so much, Diane. You have a great night, and I will see you on the 8th.
Great. Au revoir.
Take care. Again, this is Nick Graystone, and you're not, and take care.
Thank you for listening to Primal Scream. I'm Nick Graystone, a.k.a. The Nizza. Each week,
thank you so much
Primal
again, Diane.
Is produced
Yay!
by
Was it
Tony
good?
Walker.
For you?
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Produced
You did
by
great.
Demon Scar.
It was so much fun.
Always remember.
Listen, if you're in town and you want to see where the Amityville Horror is, I have no problem to show you. If you'd like to, you reach out to me.
I'll let you know. I mean, I think that the theater, the guy who's bringing me out, he told me that he's going to be able to drive me there and see it. So
cool.
We'll see. You know, I think if I